With more stuff online, I'm Rick Moore. It's time now once again for a visit from Mayor Carolyn Kirk of Gloucester from the Mayor's office. And Madam Mayor, it is summertime, and here we are a year later, and water is still in the minds of Gloucester residents. So maybe a little update.
Thanks, Rick. Yeah, it was almost a year ago this summer that we lost the treatment plant at Babson and suffered through a 20-day boil order. And you know, it's hard to believe it's been a year, but in that year we've made an $8 million investment in the Babson treatment plant, and this weekend we fire it up and get it started, which is really just in the nick of time, because right now we're drawing off our water supply in West Gloucester and we're heading into a drought time, and that reservoir level is dwindling, and so we're making the switch just in time to Babson where there's plenty of water. The project was on time, on budget, which we're tremendously pleased about. We wondered if we were going to be able to pull it off because of the limited time that we had and the ambitious nature of the project, but we were able to do it.
All right, now what are some of the concerns that you've been hearing? We see in the paper people are concerned about this or that or whatever.
Right.
What have you been hearing, and what can you tell us about it?
Well, I think the biggest concern is, you know, because of the boil order and the fragile state of the water system, we were placed under a consent order with the Department of Environmental Protection. And that consent order said you will fix your disinfection process, and you will do that by July 1st of 2010. And so that narrowed the options that we had. And the disinfection process is basically, you know, you can't drink water straight out of the reservoir. You know, it needs to be disinfected, it needs to be treated, it needs to be cleansed, the bacteria all needs to be removed. And so you use different chemical treatment processes for that, and chlorine is the disinfectant that the city has been using. But we know from last summer that chlorine is just not adequate given the particular circumstances of our water system, and the only option that we had to avoid what we went through last year was to put chloramines into the water, which is a combination of chlorine and ammonia. And some people have expressed concerns about that. And the MWRA district, which serves Greater Boston, there's 2.2 million people who have drunk is right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Chloranimated water for over 70 years. So it's nothing new, but there are some folks who are vigorously opposed to it, and part of that is being opposed to adding chemicals to our water. And I mean, in Worcester there was a battle against fluoride in the drinking water, but from our point of view, you have to disinfect the water to make it drinkable at your tap. In fact, that's one of the biggest health advances in the 20th century, is that we've basically eradicated waterborne illnesses in this country because of the treatment, the disinfection of the source water to your tap. And there's only a very small number of ways to accomplish that. Chlorinimation is one of them.
Okay, now how can people who are uneducated with respect to the chemicals going in get information about that? I
think the best thing to do, you know, you can't believe everything you read on the internet. This discussion gets very technical very quickly, and you have to interpret what you're reading on the internet in the context of does or does it not apply in your particular water system. So on July 27th, the City Council is having an information session where the Department of Public Works, our environmental engineer, and some experts in the water industry will speak specifically about chloranimation and some of the questions surrounding it, and really just serve to educate. And the council president, as a courtesy, has also given time on that agenda to hear from the anti-chloranimation folks.
Okay.
So it should be an interesting...
And this will be at a city hall meeting, or?
A city council meeting, okay. July 27th in City Hall at 7 p.m.
Okay.
You know, the important thing is that doing nothing is not an option. We know that. Chlorine alone doesn't get the job done. Longer term, we would be looking at, you know, a $50 million state-of-the-art water treatment plant, 3 to 5 years out, maybe, to minimize the amount of chemicals. That's really the only alternative, but there was no way that was going to get accomplished by July 1st of this year.
So Gloucester would have to win the lottery pretty soon, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Madam Mayor, thank you so much. That's Mayor Kirk of the Gloucester Mayor's Office. And from the Mayor's Office, that is Mayor Kirk. I don't know if I said that correctly or not. Did I say that right?
I think you did.
Okay, good.
I can't
All right.
remember.
We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Rick.
From the Mayor's Office, I'm Rick Moore.